Honey,
Yes, sir.
look at that good old
Pro athlete.
walking down the street. I think we got us one. You know what I'm saying? Almost like them ancestral tingly senses start going on.
Body starts going crazy.
And it was like, I think we might get us a couple pounds of cotton daily with this one, honey.
We'd like to become your legal guardians.
The movie Blindside, 2009, was a hit amongst many people. Me personally, I'm not into narratives of white people seen as the saviors of black abject poverty or, you feel me, just the plight of blackness. When I read that lawsuit and seen that Michael Oher wasn't aware of this until like 6 months ago, and that he always had an issue with how the Tuohy family wrote about him in that book and how they portray him. I know it's that the intersections of disability and blackness is one that we don't really situate ourselves in. When I was talking to one of my homeboys about exactly what had happened, bro had said, "Hey, but ain't he kind of slow?" And I was like, kind of slow. And then when you read the article, you see what I'm saying? When you read the lawsuit, it points out that this man was already damn near a high school football standout. They even talk about how when he was going to this private Christian school, that he was already seen as a rising senior. You see what I'm saying? And the more popular that he got, the more the Tuohy family tried to invite him and do different things. You know, I made a video about this on my TikTok. So this entire movie is based on a lie? The blind side about these well-meaning white family that took in this black kid, not because of his ability, not because he was seen as a future NFL prospect, but because they had love and humanity.
About why'd you do it? We didn't know we really did anything. But
Yeah, reports then came out. Michael Oher, former NFL player and subject of the Blind Side movie, alleges his entire adoption was a lie. Allegedly. This comes directly from the ESPN page right here. Retired NFL player Michael Oher, whose supposed adoption out of grinding poverty by a wealthy white family was immortalized in the 2009 movie The Blind Side, petitioned a Tennessee court Monday with allegations with a central element of the story was a lie concocted by the family to enrich themselves at his expense. The 14-page petition filed the Shelby County Probate Court alleges that the Sean and Leah Ann Tuohy, whatever their name is, who took more into their home and high school student, never adopted him. They bamboozled him. Man, Oher is writing the courts to ask them to end the Tuohy's conservatorship and issue an injunction banning for them using his name and his likeness. These folks been able to make business decisions on his behalf and his name because they tricked him into thinking they were adopting him when in actuality they Britney Spears this man. I remember when Britney Spears was under when she couldn't make no decisions for herself and her daddy played her? That's what they did to Michael Oher. Reports also say that he's seeking the full accounting of the money that the Tuohys earned using his name, and to have the couple pay him his fair share of profits, as well as unspecified compensatory and punitive damages. And of course, the family did not immediately return any phone calls to ESPN on Monday. And this is wild, right? They never adopted him, instead tricking him into signing a document making them his conservators and enriching themselves. Allegedly. What in the 12 years a slave is going on here now? In the comment sections of this video I made on TikTok, there were a lot of white people that was literally trying to chastise Michael Oher by saying like, well, he sure went on them shopping sprees. He didn't live at their house. He did all this, he did all that. Why you mad now? To me, it showed that the hubris of slave masters or the hubris of human trafficking, it applies to non-enslavers and non-human traffickers as well. You see what I'm saying? What the Tuohys did, in my opinion, was a textbook example of black fungibility, where they were able to take a black body's sweat, tears, you feel me, emotions, and be able to flip that. It made it transactional. What I know, you see what I'm saying? When you read the article and recognize that he didn't get nothing from the movie, but the Tuohy family made sure that them and they two kids was paid like $250,000 a piece and paid like 2% of the royalties. And this part that really really pissed me off, right? The lawyer that helped the Tuohy family dupe Michael Oher and thinking that he was being adopted and told them that, hey, nah, conservatorship is the same thing as adoption. We have to do this because of your age. Do y'all know that the Tuohy family made sure they got a different lawyer and agent to negotiate the movie? You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you're doing deals, there's always a negotiation between the splits and the intellectual property and all this and all that. They made sure Michael Oher had the same exact lawyer that was able to trick him when he was 17, 18 years old into doing a conservatorship. And this is why I know people are going to be in the comments being like, well, isn't it Michael's fault? He should have been more smarter. He should have been this, that, and the other. It should have been this, that, and the other. My two responses to that is, number one, you sound just like the white people that's running Congress that feel like they can give multi-billions of dollars to, you know what I'm saying, a corporation, but then they're going to chastise an 18-year-old that got predatory preyed on by, you feel me, these loan companies. You see what I'm saying? You holding an 18-year-old to standards of adults that you don't even hold. People that have the resources to have whole financial offices and things like that. When the Tuohy family took Mike, you feel me, on a shopping spree, that showed you they had ulterior motives. The idea that this man was taught football, taught how to study, taught how to be being an intellectual, came from a Tuohy family is exactly what the white man's burden, the white saviorship narrative is about. And being real, most black people watched that movie and was like, I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying? Not only am I not interested in watching the movie, I think that it makes me feel icky and cringy to recognize that, hey, this whole narrative is about how some great, meaning, intentional white people did something for a little N-word boy, and they didn't get anything in return. It was out the grace of God and the kindness of their heart. Whole time, this really how colonialism gets spent every time. You see what I'm saying? And be clear. Yeah, no, actually, I think it could. One could say that the Tuohy family colonized the labor, likeness, and image of Michael Oher. There have been a lot of people that have brought smoke and backlash towards Sandra Bullock. I acknowledge that I made a tweet where I feel like I sensationalized the caption by talking about the Blind Side movie that Sandra Bullock played in being a lie, and that she basically played a human trafficker. You know what I'm saying? Listen, my beef wasn't to Sandra Bullock. See what I'm saying? She was doing the job, right? But in doing that job, I don't get too theoretical with you. She still was able to benefit from the fungibility of a black body. Let's be clear, right? There was a trade-off. See what I'm saying? Did she intentionally do this? No. Did she know about it? No. It doesn't change, though. You see what I'm saying? The implications. But to be clear, I don't have no beef against Sandra Bullock. I'm not blaming Sandra Bullock for anything. I'm just acknowledging Sandra Bullock as being...
Let me see you get low. You scared. You scared. Drop your ass to the floor. You scared. You scared.
A beneficiary of this lie. If y'all ever watched the movie 12 Years a Slave with Solomon, that's really what the Tuohy family did to, you know what I'm saying, Michael Oher. They 12 years a slave, my boy. So let's be real, man. Most of us are not surprised that this white saviorship narrative really came at the expense of, you know, a black body. Oh, let me define that with some context real fast. White savior complex is a term that is used to describe white people who consider themselves wonderful helpers to black, indigenous, and people of color. But they help for the wrong reasons and sometimes end up doing more hurt than help. Keep in mind, this doesn't refer to all white people. White savior complex, sometimes called white savior syndrome. That's damn near what this was, definitely. Or white saviorism refers to those who work from the assumption that they know the best for BIPOC folks need, just like this conservatorship they was able to put on Mike. When I was in college, I learned about the concept of Afro-pessimism that said that the black body, you feel me, is the platform of civil society. And that a lot of individuals buy into anti-blackness by thinking bodies, you feel me, are fungible. We're going to get a formal definition of fungibility. I'll read it in a minute. But people game know. There were ulterior motives behind how the movie Blind Side was portraying, you feel me, Michael Oher. A lot of people are like, man, I knew that movie wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Most of us black folks know that nothing in the world comes from doing shit for black people that doesn't benefit the people most that's doing something for black people. Hold on, let me provide some academic context to that real fast. Black people, as fungible, Hartman writes, are marked by a specific kind of abstractness and immateriality. If the enslaved were definite particular things, if they had acknowledged sentience, personality, or bodies with their own pleasures, limitations, or needs that called for acknowledgement or respect, it would curtail how those people could be put into work or enjoyed. Simply put, if any black person were any particular or definite thing. They could not be enjoyed in every way that might suit white needs and could not then serve as vehicles for the universal enjoyment and extension of whites. While fundamentally characterized the nature of race relations and the constitution of blackness during slavery, Hartman also uses the concept as she describes the production of skewed archive of black lives during birth slavery in its wake. And what we see here is that Michael Oher was definitely used as a fungible object for the pleasure and gain of the Oher family, both emotionally, financially, politically, and, at the expense of getting them some capital, at the expense of not giving Michael Oher's capital. Sound like slavery to me. White America, particularly the Tuohy family and white folks in Tennessee, and really white, I would be willing to make a critical argument, a structural argument that says that when black interest is fulfilled, that black interest is always quadrupled by whoever felt like they was doing for black people. You see what I'm saying? And that's really what it came down to. It was transactional. It was transactional and strategically thought out for them to be able to dupe this man that was already being recruited by D1 universities. Yeah, and this is the part that really pissed me off though. Before I made this video on YouTube right now, I got on Twitter and saw that the Tuohy family got them a well-known lawyer. Such a well-known lawyer, an expensive lawyer, that it damn near illustrates the point of Michael Oher. And it shows you this white family is out for blood. Now, the father was very condescending and said that we don't, you know what? He really paternalized Mike. You feel me? Made him seem like he was a child. We gonna love him the same way as he was 17 at 36. We don't know what's that and the other. Then you try to flip the narrative and say, man, he tried to get us out of $15 million of cash. And he said that if we don't give him $15 million, he gonna plan a bad story. Y'all admitted that he signed the conservatorship. Y'all even admitted that y'all damn near told. I don't say damn near. Yeah, I feel like, to me, it seems like y'all damn near admitted that you were deceiving and misleading to Michael. In conclusion, to the victors goes the spoil. They say that the history is written by the winners. When I read that, lawsuit, Michael really brought about how the movie coming out in 2009 really hurt his image, not only in the world, but also within the league. That the NFL people ceased to see him as a leader anymore because he was past as, you feel me, this academically challenged big black brute that just needed a little bit of white kinship and white help to be able to make it where he reached his total, or make it where he can reach his full potential. Education is elevation. Like, share, subscribe.